Alright guys, well, I'm pretty excited about this video because this is the first time that I'm talking about something not Facebook Marketplace dropshipping. And if you're new to the channel, well, I am the guy who has been doing Facebook Marketplace dropshipping full-time since July of 2020. I quit my day job in October of 2020 and been doing dropshipping mainly on Facebook and now other platforms, well, for almost 2 years now. And this video specifically is about Airbnb and VRBO rental arbitrage, which is something that I have wanted to try for a really long time. And especially this is really applicable for e-commerce and dropshippers. Why is it applicable for e-commerce? Well, you can supplement your e-commerce income when e-commerce season is slow, because summer months are typically the slowest month of the year. Then it kind of starts to pick up. However, the reason why it's slowing down in summer is people are traveling, people are getting outside, people are looking for experiences and things to do, and which is why I think Airbnb is a great supplement if you guys are doing e-commerce, because when things are slow in e-commerce, well, you have another amazing source of automated and passive income with Airbnb. And yes, it can be passive, by the way. So yeah, this is actually this is my second Airbnb property. This is a 2-bedroom property that I launched 5 days ago, and it is almost fully booked as of right now. My July is almost 80% booked, a little bit more. Then I have most of August fully booked, so you can score some results really quickly if you do your research. And my first property is in Oceanside, California. This second property is in the southern part of San Diego, California. So both properties are very close to the ocean, very close to the beaches, and they do offer quick access to San Diego and some nearby places, which really do help and play an important factor in the game. And why I also think it's a pretty cool thing for a dropshipper to consider is because you also have to do your market research, if you will. With dropshipping, we do our product research with Zik Analytics, with Shelf Trend, with Therapeutic. Here you would do your product research with something called RDNA. There are other tools and softwares that I still have yet to try. I have used RDNA, and honestly people say it's the best tool, and I think I have to agree that so far I have had great experience with the tool. Really, with RDNA you just plug in the city that you want to start Airbnb. For example, if you live in Los Angeles, you can plug in Los Angeles and check the numbers, but you also have to keep in mind the regulations that are in each city, because some cities are very strict. They hate Airbnbs. They make it really hard for people to do Airbnbs, and if you do it illegally, well, you will get fined. The Uncle Sam is going to come for you. So you have to keep that one in mind if you want to start Airbnb. Second thing, do your market research with RDNA. I personally look at occupancy rate, how much revenue a neighborhood can make per year. And there are a whole lot other metrics that I'm not gonna go into this video. However, I can say that it has been really profitable right now. Right now it's actually more profitable than my Facebook Marketplace dropshipping business. So there is a lot of potential in that business, and you can really scale it the more properties you acquire. And the thing about rental arbitrage, I should mention, honestly, all you need to do is you need to find a landlord who will agree to rent out their property to you as a short-term rental unit, as an Airbnb unit. So this is really the hardest part here, and for the most part it's doable, because in the end of the day you can actually give the landlord a lot of value if you put yourself in the shoes of a landlord. Because if you are doing Airbnb, well, you typically have a cleaning crew, you have your maintenance crew, you will be taking care of his property pretty much daily, if you have guests checking in and out daily, or at least a few times per week, right? So the property will have no tear and wear, it will be maintained, will be taken care of. Landlord will not have to worry about anything. If something breaks, you can fix it. In some cases, the landlord can even help you fix like a fridge or a dishwasher if he has a maintenance team. So, it depends on the landlord. And while most landlords will be against the idea, you will still be able to find those who are willing to give this a shot, like I did with 2 landlords already. And I also should mention about the costs, right? How much something like this would cost, because you definitely do need to invest pretty significant amount of money upfront, which is something that dropshipping on Facebook Marketplace has allowed me to do, because I did acquire quite a good amount of capital, because I started in 2020, 2021, when not too many people were dropshipping on Facebook, so I did score a good amount of sales. And I have been reinvesting actively into other businesses, and Airbnb is now one of my main businesses. So I should say it takes anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 to get started with this, because if you have a 2-bedroom, well, you obviously have to furnish more rooms. If you have a 1-bedroom, you have to furnish less. I also work with an interior designer, so I also have to pay a designer fee, and then I also have to pay him for hiring movers, because I essentially work with a designer who does everything A to Z. Because I have a family, I barely have time for anything, to be honest. I barely have time to make YouTube videos, to be absolutely honest, but I'm still really excited to share this with you guys, because I do believe this is a fantastic opportunity, because travel is actually at all-time high. If you read the news, travel is beating all the records despite the inflation, despite the economy slowing down. So if you guys are seeing decrease of sales on Facebook and views, well, not to worry, there is another industry that you can still score very nice profits in, and I think this is the industry for you guys to consider, especially for dropshippers who love doing your product research, who love crunching numbers, because I do think you guys are gonna love this process, and especially if you do love doing some home decor, being a host, greeting guests, hosting people over, you guys will love this actually. So yeah, as I said, this 2-bedroom unit is around 870 square feet, so it took me about $18,000 from start to finish. I had to pay the designer fee, I had to pay the security, the first month deposit, then I also had to pay the short-term rental permit inspection fees and other miscellaneous expenses, shopping trips and just buying some small stuff that my designer did not buy. However, 5 days after launching the property, in the first day I got 4 bookings, and then consistently each day I have been getting anywhere from 1 to 3 bookings. As of the time of this video, I am at $7,831.62 in revenue. With the July rent, I have now spent $23,734.83, so I am already about $15,903.21 left for money that I need to make to break even. However, again, in 5 days I already made almost 8,000, so the speed that you can make this money back is relatively quick, so I'm not too worried right here. However, it definitely was a very uncomfortable thing for me to do, because I'm the kind of guy that hates spending a lot of money up front. I hate taking risks like this, and this was really something that was pushing myself out of the comfort zone. However, I do think it's a really important thing for entrepreneurs to do, is to push yourself out of your comfort zone, try new things, and not be afraid to risk. Those who take risks drink champagne, as we have a saying in Eastern Europe. So yeah, that's typically the process. And by the way, my first property as of now, and it's June 30th, so June fully booked, July pretty much fully booked, August almost fully booked, September partially booked. So I actually have to make one adjustment in this unit, so I changed my stay to 30 days minimum in order to comply with regulations. And why I did that is because during the permit inspection step, they found out that the window in the unit is too small for people to climb out if there was ever a fire emergency, also called an egress window. So I was kind of screwed over by landlords, because I thought their building complies with all those regulations and apparently doesn't. So now I have to kind of adjust my calendar and work with them. They will have to probably demolish the wall and change the window, so it's going to be a little bit of a headache. However, noted for next time, and noted for you guys, make sure the windows are big enough for people to climb over. They are not higher than 44 inches, which is something that I had no idea about, and now I do know that. So nonetheless, you guys can see potential in doing that if there is demand, and you can easily scale this the more properties you rent and list on Airbnb. Now with automation specifically, the way you can automate things, number one, you have to automate prices, because you will spend a lot of time doing your math to set up the right nightly rates and factor in the competition, what's going on in the market, the seasonal adjustments. It's just way too much to handle by yourself. What I do, I use this tool called Wheelhouse, and you can check out the link in description. But Wheelhouse is essentially a dynamic pricing tool. It scans the whole market. It prices your property for the next 365 days using real-time data, what's happening in the market, how the hotels are pricing their listings, the seasonality, the events in the area. It takes all of that in demand and adjusts the nightly price of your property. So that one is pretty cool. Now, in terms of cleaners, which is a really important thing, because the cleaning fee, something that will be paid by guests, but also you will have to pay your cleaners, and this will be your biggest expense that will eat a lot into your profits, is the cleaning fee. Now, in my case, I'm automating the entire cleaning process with Turnover B&B, which is essentially a website designed for cleaners who specialize in Airbnb cleaning. Your Airbnb calendar syncs with the Turnover B&B calendar, and cleaners automatically accept or decline if they're unavailable, or accept if they're available to clean your property. And it happens automatically. You don't even have to worry about anything. You just give them instructions how to enter the building, what to do, the checklist, and they're done.
Want to see some magic?
It is pretty much automated. 90 to 95% of everything is automated. Sometimes I just take time to check on the calendar, to check on dynamic pricing, address some guest questions, but again, this is pretty much automated, which is amazing. It's even more automated than my e-commerce dropshipping business, to be absolutely honest. And I have no regrets whatsoever starting it. And I think you guys should give this a shot, especially now when all-time travel is high. If you have a spare room that you can rent out, and if you think it is compliant with regulations, then go ahead and do it. If it's not compliant with the regulations, you can still do it if you do a 30-day minimum stay. But again, you have to research your area, because short-term rental laws typically apply for stays that are less than 30 days. If you do more than 30-day stays, in other words, set a minimum of 30-day stays on Airbnb app, then you can essentially get around the laws. So you can do that, or you can do what I do, find new properties, negotiate with landlords, make sure you crunch your RDNA numbers, and then list your property and make some nice cash and automate the business and buy more properties. But you guys can find more helpful information by following me on Instagram. I have a link tree with a lot of useful links about the Airbnb short-term rental arbitrage business that I'm running, and also my other e-commerce dropshipping business that I'm running. So make sure to check it out, and I do hope you have found this video helpful. If you did, do consider
smashing that like button, subscribing to the channel, hitting the notification bell.
You guys know all of that, so thank you all so much, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.